Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all over the world. My name is Adebusuyi Olutayo Olumadewa from Lagos, Nigeria. I am the founder and executive director of Do the Dream Youth Development Initiative, an organization that helps young people in Africa to find their voice and create a platform for those voices to be amplified. However, over the years, we realize that there are little things that make wheels spin, and there are great people all over the world who are causing change that they choose not to be seen, either by their government, either by their environment or by people. And that's what led me to champion the cause of the program called The Agent. The Agent is about those who are making the wheels spin all over the world. It's about those who are contributing to the economy of different countries, of cities. It's about boy and girl, male and female, who are making the wheels spin in their capacity. It's about people who see education as a way of advancing their society. It's about people who choose to run with their environment in making the environment better than they met it rather. It's about people who really want to make their economy better, who want to contribute to the GDP, and who want to make the world better for another personality. This is what the agent is all about. In all our lives, we eat food that someone else produced. We drive cars, which is another man's idea. We run with ideology, which is somebody else's brainchild. We actually put on wristwatch, which is another person's brainchild. We drive cars, that is someone else's work. But it's now time. It is high time that the world listen to us. It's high time we pay attention to that special you. It's high time we let the world know that we carry that thing that will make our world better than the way we made it. And that is what the agent is all about. And today, which is the second episode of The Agents, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want to welcome you again to this another wonderful edition. And I promise you that today is going to be awesome because I have a dynamic personality, a young man from India who has been researching on how to convert wastes into electricity. I'm talking about Mr. Ahitagni Das. In a few minutes now, Ahitagni Das will join us now as we explore the opportunities behind this in order for us to actually recreate our world with the investment of that personality. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, male and female, it is that time now. The time has come to welcome the hero of the moment in the person of Mr. Itagi Dance. Over to
Hello.
you, Itagi. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Awesome, 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 awesome. I'm glad to see you. How is my
Like,
audio?
sorry?
How is my audio like? Is it okay on your side?
Yeah, it's
Audio,
amazing.
audio.
Yeah, it's
It's
amazing.
amazing. Okay, okay, I can hear you very well. It's always awesome to hear and to listen to you again and again and again. I'm so happy again. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Aitak Das in the studio now, and this is the agent coming live from Lagos, Nigeria. It's a wonderful edition again. We are going to learn from this beautiful research that has been conducted by this wonderful gentleman all the way from India on how to turn waste into electricity. Ladies and gentlemen, in few minutes, wow, it's even 1 o'clock, Lagos, Nigeria, and we go straight to you, Aitagi. So, who are you?
Hello. Ahitagni. I'm a rising senior in high school from India. While I'm interested in a lot of things, I'm primarily focusing in a intersection of research and entrepreneurship for now. But at the same time, I also take interest in politics, economics, art, culture, and everything.
Oh, beautiful. Awesome. Awesome. You are Aitak all the way from India. Oh, yeah. Tell us about your nurturing. Tell us about your nurturing.
So I've had a pretty standard Indian life for the most part, but over the last 4 years, I chose to do something different. So I didn't drop out of high school, but I had a weird pact with my high school where I no more have to attend school, but I can do whatever I want as long as I'm doing something productive outside of school. My school is fine with me not attending. So I spend most of my time with my research and my other works. Currently, I'm focusing on converting plastic waste to electricity, which is my main research work right now. But at the same time, also looking at how this can be converted to a business to actually help people around the world. Other than this, I'm also painting, reading about cultures, stuff like that.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, thank you so much. Before we go to why we're here today, just tell us about your aspiration for this world. What you intend to achieve for our world.
Um, I think my goals are not very different from most other people. I definitely want to leave some form of a fingerprint on the world. By a fingerprint, I mean do something good for the world for my people. And when I say my people, I mean from people all over the world, not just India. Um, so yeah, I think that's my goal. How I'm going to achieve it is a good question. I'm not very sure yet, but yeah, I think I would eventually want to get into business with an inclination towards research, and that's the current goal for now.
Awesome. Earlier today, you said you're interested in politics, business, enterprise in general. Just tell me about that before we move on. For
So how I got into all this?
no, you were talking about you're interested in business as well, in politics as well. I just want you to just share
Yeah,
brief on that before we move on.
yeah. So my main research interest is in applied sciences, but so like almost every research work that we work on has some form of social impact. But what usually happens is we publish a paper and the paper gets accepted to a journal and it sits there for the rest of its life. So it doesn't turn out to be helpful. But I don't want my research to be a part of a journal and nothing else. I want it to actually help people. And the only way of doing this is to convert it into a business. Because if I publish my paper on converting plastic waste to electricity to a journal right now and just let it be, it'll just rot there forever. But instead, if I convert it into a business and like form some form of a partnership with plastic industries and waste industries to collect the plastic waste and then convert them into batteries to help provide electricity, it would end up being helpful to the people. So that is the goal of me getting into business. But about politics, so I think it's important for everybody to be interested in politics, especially if you consider yourself to be an intellectual, because in countries like India, there are a lot of societal problems. So suppression of women's rights, we have racism, we have religious bigotry, and someone needs to speak up on these, right? And when you have a broader perspective, a scientific perspective, and you can explain to people why these problems do not make sense, I think you should have a voice in politics, and that's why I'm in politics too.
Mr. Aitak, brilliant. You are a total being. Thank you so much. Well, so you in our conversation you talked about you just find a novel way of converting waste to research. First of
Yeah.
all, tell me about your waste, your knowledge in waste management before we go into that point. Thank you.
So I wouldn't say I know a lot about waste management, but yeah, I have a couple of friends that have worked on converting biodegradable waste to graphene. For the other viewers out there, graphene is a form of carbon which has a bunch of uses. So it's helpful. It finds usage in semiconductors, water filtration, and almost everything, even biotechnology. So I was like inclined to working with graphene, but I didn't know what to work on. That is when I realized that um, plastic is a major problem all over the world, especially in India, in Africa, and in Philippines. So I did a little bit of research, and it turns out there has been almost zero technological advancements in recycling, and the other methods of plastic waste management aren't very effective. So they create a lot of waste in the process. So because like the rate at which plastic is being produced is increasing exponentially, and there has been zero advancements in recycling, and the other methods are not working as well, we were basically unable to control the rise of plastic waste. So it's affecting everything. And if you look at it from a bird's eye view, plastic has impact on everything from ocean life to human life. So I kind of wanted to do something in that, and I reached out to a bunch of people, and I don't know if you know, but whenever you burn something, you get carbon. So if you burn a bread, right? If you toast a bread, you know how if you like overdo it, it has a black thing on top, a black layer. It has some graphene in it too, some carbon. So whatever you burn, you will get some form of carbon. So I thought of working on a way of converting plastic waste to graphene. That is what I worked on for three-ish months. And when I got this, when it was successful, I needed to find a way of using this graphene. So I modified the entire thing, and I made doped graphene from plastic waste. So when I get doped graphene, I'm directly able to make batteries from plastic waste. My current outputs are not very appreciable, but since I'm getting outputs that do signify the potential of the work, it means that I can go forward and make it better. So yeah, so I'm getting around voltage from around 60 grams of plastic, which is decent. It's not 60 actually, 40 grams.
Awesome. Awesome. Beautiful. Awesome. That's
Thank you.
wow. Awesome. How old are you?
I am 17 in a few months.
17 in a few months, and you're doing all this. So
There are
basically,
many
you
doing
you
this. So,
you've actually designed a solution that will actually recreate our world. Those are your
yeah,
ideas.
it wasn't me though. I had a bunch of help. Um, my professor, he allowed me to work at his lab, which was really a lot of help because there was no way I could have done the experiments on my own. And he was there for me the entire time. So yeah, it was definitely not just me, but yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So now, what's the next step? How are you scaling it forward in
I'm
the ways to?
yeah, I'm not thinking about business yet because I need to work on the research first. So since I'm getting appreciable amount of voltage for now, um, I'm experimenting with doping concentrations and what type of plastics to use. What like so the method includes pyrolysis processes. So I'm having to heat the plastic. So I'm also varying temperatures and checking other stuff. So to find the best possible combination, which would be the highest voltage. So yeah, that's what I'm doing for now. If everything works out, I do plan on converting into a business. But yeah,
So the phase we are now is still phase of research, because I can see there are more than 3 to 4 or 5 processes that is involved in this beautiful process. Do you understand? Out of those processes, which out of those 5 processes you've mentioned, which one gave you most challenge?
honestly, the first one, because that was my first time doing the experiments. So I didn't know what type of plastic to use, how to fit the plastic in the apparatus, what temperatures to use, what analysis to do. Like my first result took around 1.5 months, but then I got most of the other thing done in 1 month. So
Wow.
once I was able to figure out how everything works, the rest of it is like, pretty easy.
The rest is pretty easy. So, how did you feel when you got that eureka moment, as in when you got your first result from this research? And how were you able to, first of all, conceive this beautiful idea first?
Um, yeah, when I finally got my result, it was amazing because so the thing was I wasn't getting my results for almost a month, but it was just because of a very minor fault in my device. So when I like I had to put two double-sided tapes in my device and it fixed everything. It was just one very minor thing. So when I finally got it, it was amazing. The excitement was like, yeah, out of words. But how I got to the idea, I've always been kind of into how plastic is influencing our world, and I've always wanted to do something. So yeah, so I kind of like initially 2 years back, I worked on a few projects on molding plastic waste to other stuff, to similar projects in plastic waste management, but they weren't very effective, and I wanted to do something. And when I found out about graphene, I saw the best possible method of infusing my interest in plastic waste management and nanotechnology, and it kind of worked out. So
Wow, wow, wow. When we are transforming food system, you had your research on a small city in Spain, then
yeah,
on
I do
transforming
remember.
food,
It
on the
wasn't
transforming
exactly a
food.
research. Yeah, it wasn't exactly a research. Like I like reading a lot, especially about like how society works and societal psychology. Plus, how so one of my major interests is how religion and other societal traditions blend into science. But like in current world, if you notice, like religion and science are pretty separate things. But like I believe like science came out from religion, science emerged from religion, so there has to be some form of connection. And this connection is what I'm very interested in, and I read about. But I'm also interested in other stuff. So that's how I found out about that. I don't think I have a lot of idea about food systems, but yeah.
But the reason I ask you is this because food system and waste, they are still interchanged, they are still
Yeah.
connected. You understand? So I want to know. Can you please share a little bit about those research about the ideas you talk about when we are talking about food system? Because there's something you said that I want to connect with what you are doing. It's like it's a continuation. So anybody seeing you today will know that Aitak didn't just start today. Aitak has
Yeah.
been there over the years. Over to you, Aitak.
So yeah, there's definitely a connection. Like I said, you can convert anything to graphene. So there's definitely a connection with nanotechnology here. But my main interest here is in non-biodegradable waste. But when we're talking about food waste, we're primarily focusing on biodegradable waste. But that doesn't mean it doesn't relate to my research. Um, so I have friends who have worked on converting biodegradable waste to graphene. So it's a very similar but different process. Similar but different. Um, so if you take like banana peels or rotten vegetables, and there's a particular process that I do not exactly remember right now, but if you go through that, you're able to get graphene from biodegradable waste too. So my work is also in getting doped graphene from plastic waste. So at the end, you're still getting graphene. So yeah, in biodegradable waste, there's definitely connection. But yeah, since I haven't explored biodegradable waste per se, I do not think I know a lot about it. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. What will you have to say to science students all over the world?
Hmm. Honestly, like when you say science students, I think we need to define what we mean by science students,
Hmm.
because in countries like India, not everybody wants to study science, but it's some sort of a social pressure that pushes people into studying science, plus good job prospects. So if I'm speaking about um, science students as in students that are actually interested in science, I mean, just do your thing, because like as long as you have ideas, pursue them. Do not just let it be. Do not just let it rot in some random journal, because like if you test it out and if it turns out to be successful, you have a really good idea that has potential to change the world. So that is what I think. But to the other people that are studying science but do not want to, I think they should just do their thing, because like when we think of advancement, the first thing that comes to our mind is flying cars and teleportation and stuff like that. But if you were to take my perspective on that, I think advancement does not only include science, but also other aspects like tradition, culture, and especially mentality of people. So if I were to compare like 21st century with 1800s, so the 18th century, the 19th century, I'm sorry, there has been a lot of advancement in human perception of women's rights. So we treat women as equals now, which is really, really nice, but we didn't back then. So there has been, I would call this an advancement too. So it's just not science. So as long as you're pursuing something, it could be art, it could be anything. And like literally anything has the potential to change the world. It's not just science. That's what I would say.
That's that's awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you. What do you want to see at the end of all this? What exactly do you want to see in the world?
Honestly, I would say something about science, but given how concerned I am about social problems right now, I would like be really happy if religious bigotry weren't a thing by the time I'm old. I think if by the time I'm 60, if religious bigotry was a thing of the past, I would be really happy.
Awesome, awesome. How are you planning to change India?
Planning to change India. I'm not exactly planning to change India. I'm planning to change the world, not just India.
Whoa,
But
whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, are you planning to change the world?
yeah, so primarily with my research, like I said, when we're working on applied sciences, a lot of our work has a lot of potential, but it like the potential doesn't usually get used up often, so it just rots in some journal. So as long as we're able to form some bridge between science, scientific research, and entrepreneurship, like bring your research directly to the people you want to work for, you're working for, I think that's a good way of directly helping the world, and that is what I'm trying to do. I'm not like aiming for very high things, like very high stuff, but that's my current plan for now. I don't know if it'll change, but yeah.
Awesome. You're such a wonderful person. What plans do you have for Africans?
Africans, like yeah. So there are two things right now. First, when I speak of my plastic research, one of my main goals is to reach out to Philippines and Africa, because along with India, Africa and Philippines are most affected by plastic waste. So I kind of want to like, if my plastic thing works out and when I convert it into a business, hopefully, I want to like have some presence in both of these places. But other than that, so I do a lot of science outreach, and I don't know a lot about African culture for now, but I'm definitely interested in it. But I do know about India, and so when I do scientific outreach, I know a lot about NGOs that reach out to orphanages and villages and teach a few textbook lessons. And though they are helpful, I don't think it does enough. So what I'm trying to do here is, so at least in rural India, where people are not exposed to a lot of scientific knowledge, almost everybody is religious. So a recent study, the recent census, said that there was only 0.26% of of the entire Indian population that does not believe in God. So there's 99 point something percent that is religious. So yeah, what I'm trying to do is, like I said, I think there is a very good relationship between religion and science. So I could give examples, but you'd have to know like Indian mythology and stuff for that. So I'm not gonna get into that. But yeah, so one of my main goals is to understand African culture, try to find their links and links of African tradition and African culture to modern science, and like explain it to the people there that have not been exposed to science. So in this way, like when you're introducing science to them, science does not defy their beliefs but supports them. And when you're introduced to a theory that like correlates with your beliefs, you'll be more willing to accept it than reject it.
Wow.
So that's kind of something I'm working on. Yeah.
Awesome. You're such a terrific one personality. Thank you so much, Aitak. Das. In all these things you're doing, do you
Sorry.
have support in everything you've been doing?
Yeah.
Apart from talk about your professor, your lab, which other support? How is India in terms of support for innovations?
I don't think there is a lot of support, honestly, because I mean, I was able to get this support because I knew people who were very supportive, but at the same time, I have a lot of friends who have a bunch of ideas that they want to work on, and they have been reaching out to a lot of labs all around, but they have received zero support because so what happens in I'm gonna introduce an American concept here. Um, in the US, if you were to get into college, you do not just need grades. You also need a lot of other experience, right? So you need some form of research experience. It definitely boosts your performance and stuff. So colleges are more open to accept students into their labs. But in India, that is not a thing. All you need is your high school transcript, and that'll get you into college. So like high school research and entrepreneurship aren't exactly um, something in India. But yeah, if you have really good connections and if you're able to reach out to the right people, I think there is definitely some support, but not a lot of support for everyone because like it's pretty difficult to find out who would be willing to help you out. So yeah, but I think it's more. I don't think it's a support problem, but an educational system problem because we're just focusing on grades and not a holistic development of someone. So yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for answering that. And I love the way you did not, you just play the politics with your country. Thank you. Awesome. Beautiful. Thank you so much. So, in fact, it's just amazing. We've spent 24 minutes just now, and I still have a bunch of questions I want to ask you, but this program is just 30 minutes because I know you are very, very busy. I'm aware you are in the lab and you got to get back to this research, and we will not want you to waste or exceed the time we've planned for this. Thank you, Aitak, for your time for this wonderful interview. However, before we call it a day with you, what's your final words for governments all over the world?
Final word for
Hold on. Sorry, I just want you to do it all at once. Your final word for young people all over the world. Your final words for young people in science all over the world, and your final word for governments all over the world.
Yeah, I think what I'm gonna say is gonna sound pretty stupid, but for I don't think I'll say anything different for young people in general and young people in science. I'll just say like do your thing because, like I said, like whatever you're doing has potential to change the world. Even art does. Like to give an example, um, yeah, if I'm not wrong, Picasso did a painting against fascism. So then there's someone called John Hartfield. He opposed Hitler with nothing but art. And he did it so bad, he ended up being the top 5 wanted people in the Gestapo. So yeah, art does have a lot of influence, and so does everything. So yeah, my message to everyone, every young person, and like every young person in general, not young people and in science, would be just do your thing and put your best in what you're interested in. And to the governments, I think governments should focus more on what's good for people and less on what will get them elected for the next term, which is pretty stupid. But yeah, that is what I would say.
Thank you so much, Aitak Das. And ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Aitak Das for all the way from India, and he has been the agent for the episode 2 of this program by WaohLife Media. Thank you so much for listeners and those who are going to join, see this video later. We've been talking to Aitak, a man who just a 70-year-old genius who find a novel way of converting waste into electricity. Those are his ideas. Those are his innovation. Those are the things that came out of his curiosity. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you again, Aitak, for honoring our invitation. And we
Thank you
hope,
so much for having me. It was great
and,
great being here.
and we We hope you will honor it again as we follow up exactly on you, because especially on your plans and your beautiful plans for Africa. I'm interested in it. I would like to work with you on that, and our team would love to work with you in African role on that. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Aitagidas, and to our viewers all over the world. This is again Aitagidas from India, a young personality, 17-year-old man who found a novel way of converting waste into electricity. We've been speaking with him. He has a terrific idea, beautiful plan for the whole world. He wants to change the world, and it's our time, it's our responsibility to give him the needed voice to actually make this happen. Why? Because it is going to be something that will recreate our environment. And thank you again, Aitak, for coming. And thank you again, everyone that has made this possible. And also my wife who has joined us, Titi Temi Lola, the Dynamite. Thank you for joining us. I love you. God bless you. And see you. Bye.
See you. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.